How is it possible that you have this job? That's not a tweet from some angry intern. That's what an actual FDA official said after yet another mind-boggling move by Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Like, seriously? This guy is running the entire U.S. health system? I mean, this is the same Robert F. Kennedy Jr. who spent years calling vaccines evil and yelling about conspiracies. And now he's the one holding the keys to the Department of Health and Human Services. What could possibly go wrong, right? This isn't just some weird policy moment. It's full-blown medical mayhem. Let's break down how one man turned public health into a circus, and why more and more people are asking, who gave this guy the job? What do you get when you mix a viral outbreak with anti-vax ideology? A disaster waiting to happen. So let's set the stage. Texas 20B25. Measles outbreak. Hospitals overwhelmed. Parents panicking. And what does Robert F. Kennedy Jr. do? He basically shrugs and goes, "Hey, not a big deal." Oh my God. Kids are literally getting hospitalized, and the top health guy in the country is out here promoting vitamin A and cod liver oil like it's 1922. Oh, and let's not forget, he still doesn't want to say the word vaccine like it's cursed. Meanwhile, governors from both parties are like, bro, we'll handle it ourselves. That's how little faith they had. Imagine being so bad at your job that even your enemies have to step in.
Donald Trump and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. have fired 10,000 people from the nation's health agencies in the last couple of weeks. They have cut billions and billions and billions of dollars in health research and health programs. But apparently, somebody forgot to tell Robert F. Kennedy Jr. that that's what he was doing.
You propose more than $11 billion in cuts to local and state programs addressing things like infectious disease, mental health, addiction, and childhood vaccination. Did you personally approve those cuts?
Bruh. Not unusual? Are we talking about a weather forecast or a viral outbreak? This man's calm is either Zen level or totally disconnected from reality. Like, we need action, not essential oils and denial. Seriously though, this was the moment people realized we weren't just dealing with bad policy, we were dealing with full-on fantasy land. It's giving, I read one article on Reddit, and now I'm in charge. When misinformation spreads faster than the virus, trust in leadership erodes. You won't believe what Robert F. Kennedy Jr. cut first, and who paid the price. A few weeks into the job and boom, 10,000 plus layoffs. Just like that. Whole departments gone. The CDC, NIH, health agencies wiped out like expired yogurt. Guess what got cut? The program helping tribal communities fight chronic disease. Because of course, why support marginalized groups when you can save budget and call it reform, right? Even researchers working on long COVID and cancer studies got tossed aside. America's top health brains, replaced with folks who probably got their medical degree from YouTube University.
HHS Secretary Robert Kennedy Jr. just wrapped up his Make America Healthy tour focused on food safety and nutrition. But the trip was overshadowed by growing concerns about deep cuts to America's healthcare services. So far, research on diseases like diabetes and AIDS has been halted, vaccine clinics are closing, and some FDA employees say they're having trouble performing basic functions. On Thursday, Kennedy announced some of that funding will be restored, and his focus moving forward will be on fraud.
This is like firing your mechanic mid-road trip and then wondering why your engine explodes. You don't fix a system by blowing it up with no plan. Like, did anyone actually think this would go smoothly? And the craziest part? He pitched it like some bold new vision. Meanwhile, people are sitting in waiting rooms with no staff, no info, and no clue what just happened. When efficiency becomes an excuse for erasing support, who really benefits? It wasn't just what he said. It's how many people left the room after. Now this part, oh man. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. gives this 40-minute speech to FDA staff. And let's just say, he went full internet rabbit hole. He started talking about the deep state, called the FDA a puppet, and then dropped the R word like it was still 1975. Yep, that happened. Staff walked out. Some didn't even wait for him to finish. Others just stared like, did I just hear that right? Later, he said he was joking. Okay, bro. If that's your idea of humor, maybe don't test it in front of hundreds of health professionals.
No, I'm not familiar with those cuts. We'd have to go.
There's like more than 50 pages of cuts that I actually went through.
The cuts were mainly DEI cuts, which the president.
There were a lot, but I'll give you, for example, about $750,000 of a University of Michigan grant into adolescent diabetes was cut. Did you know that?
I didn't know that, and that's something that we'll look at.
This was less of a speech, and more like watching your uncle get a little too comfortable at Thanksgiving. Like, did no one vet this guy before handing him a mic and a government agency? Honestly, it was less address the staff and more welcome to my TED Talk on chaos. I swear, even the janitor walked out halfway through. When the messenger overshadows the message, credibility crumbles. When your experts start walking out the door, something's seriously wrong. Dr. Peter Marks, a vaccine expert with decades of experience, quits. Just walks out. Why? Because Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was demanding access to vaccine safety. Data, no oversight, no guardrails. Red flag much? Marks wasn't alone. CDC scientists, NIH researchers, all bouncing like rats fleeing a sinking ship. Except in this case, the captain is the one poking holes in the boat. To top it off, whistleblowers are leaking documents, warning of intimidation and pressure to twist science for politics. This isn't a system working. This is a system bleeding out.
I'm not familiar with those cuts. Those cuts are mainly DEI cuts. We cut infectious disease and mental health and addiction. That sounds like a terrible idea. We cut adolescent diabetes stuff? Well, that's something that we'll look at. I thought these were all DEI cuts. How is it possible you have this job? But while Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. claims to know nothing about the massive cuts he has made at the various agencies he runs.
Imagine being so chaotic that scientists, literal professionals who've been through pandemics, are like, nah, I'm out. You know it's bad when the people who love data start ghosting. We're not talking one or two folks here. This was a stampede. And if that doesn't scare you more than any virus, I don't know what will. Silencing science doesn't make the facts disappear. It only dims the light of truth. People weren't just shocked. They were straight up dumbfounded. Twitter lit up like a Christmas tree in July. Hashtags like to resign RFK and health crisis 1025 were trending within hours. Some folks were mad, some were confused, and a whole bunch were just laughing at the chaos. Even celebrities started chiming in. Actor Mark Ruffalo tweeted, "This is what happens when conspiracy theorists run the show." Scary stuff. Meanwhile, Joe Rogan asked on his podcast, how the hell does someone with zero trust in the system get to run the system? TikTok? Pure fire. Memes of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. dressed as a medieval doctor with leeches went viral. One user captioned a skit, "Day 3 without CDC staff. I've resorted to Googling symptoms and panicking." Twitter was on fire. TikTok was a comedy battlefield. Even your aunt on Facebook was like, this can't be real life. People from all sides, left, right, Gen Z, boomers, were united by one thing: complete disbelief. It was chaos, but make it viral. When public trust turns into public punchlines, you've officially lost the room. You know it's bad when Twitter, TikTok, and late-night TV all agree, and none of them ever agree. So yeah, Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s time as health secretary is starting to feel like the plot of a very strange reality show. Except it's not scripted, and we're the ones stuck watching it play out. From measles. Disasters to mass resignations. This whole ride has been a roller coaster of, wait, what did he just do? Such moments. And after all of it, one question still echoes louder than any press conference. How is it possible that you have this job? Hit that subscribe button if you want more truth, less spin. Drop your thoughts. Or your favorite Robert F. Kennedy Jr. facepalm moment in the comments. Tap the bell so you don't miss what they hope you won't see next.